Welcome. Excuse my congestion. The weather changes cause a little bit of congestion as of late, but I still want to make sure to make this presentation on time. Thank you for coming, take time today. This presentation is called Revitalizing Motivation and Organization in Virtual Teams. Our goal is to kind of explore the strategies that will help to enhance effectiveness and synergy in remote teamwork. As I said, revitalizing motivation and organization in the virtual teams. This strategy proposal focuses on strengthening the team dynamics by improving communication, accountability, and team culture. By addressing these areas, we can boost engagement and productivity across our virtual projects. Currently, our virtual team faces a few challenges, as do a lot of virtual teams. Low engagement and participation is an issue. Missed deadlines, some unclear communication channels. With it being virtual, there's so many different options out there, as well as reduced accountability. Kind of when people work in their own space, it feels like there's a little less accountability going on, and so we want to make sure that we can mitigate some of those challenges. Each of these issues contributes to a decreased motivation, poor workflows, and that lower productivity that we're trying to avoid as we transfer to this virtual space. When team members tend to be disengaged, they lack motivation to contribute effectively, and this results in a lot of lower productivity and a declining morale, making it difficult for the group to achieve all of their goals. A lot of times they're missing the deadlines. That often occurs when the roles and responsibilities are unclear. Some of the team members, as they work virtually, they're kind of it's at their own will. It's very self-starter, and so that can cause a lot of unclear lines on what the roles and responsibilities are that people have. This leads to disorganized workflows and delays in the project completion. As we continue on without clear communication and not proper communication channels of understanding of how and where to get in contact with people, that breakdown kind of creates misunderstandings and some misalignment of goals. Again, something else that we're really trying to avoid as we go through. Just because it slows down progress ultimately. Excuse me. When accountability is reduced, members may not feel true ownership of their tasks. And as we look at people, right? People, when they have a sense of ownership in their tasks, they have a bigger sense of pride and will and passion for that task. And that is ultimately the goal. But without that passion, it lowers the productivity and it kind of weakens the effectiveness of the team because there's not that heart into it, right? Just like your grandma used to say, she put her heart and soul in that food. You want people to put their heart and soul into their work because that makes it much more productive and a lot more effective as a team. To address some of these challenges, we've developed a strategy. We focus on kind of 5 key areas: communication, accountability, recognition, structure, and team culture. That last one is really one that hits home for me. Team culture is extremely important in so many spaces, and these are kind of the key elements to building a cohesive and high performing virtual team. And we want to do all that we can to achieve that and work better towards that as we look at this virtual team and kind of the projects that we'll be facing. We'll improve our communication through weekly meetings, collaboration tools, and transparency. Again, I think that last one really hits home for me. Transparency, whether it's dealing internally or externally, the team really needs a good degree of transparency. Whether it's to understand that, hey, this is going on, maybe places that can be picked up by others. Overall, the transparency really helps. Weekly meetings, it just makes everybody feel like they're seen. I know that sometimes they can feel redundant. People kind of hate those weekly meetings because it kind of bogs down, but those weekly meetings really help to ground everybody, make sure everybody's on the same page, making sure everybody's working to the same goal, using different collaboration tools, kind of like Slack or even Microsoft Teams, as we do here. Trello is one, Asana is one. That these are different services that kind of streamline sharing updates and kind of a more active live updating, kind of like shared documents, right? The simplest form is the shared document. Just make it a shared document that everybody can interact with. Does something that kind of brings the team together. Transparency, again, it builds the trust and strengthens the team environment, making it a good place where people want to work, where people want to put their all into. Those are really big things, right? excuse me. Like I said, the weekly meetings, the collaboration, transparency. We really want to hit those home in this presentation. Accountability will be reinforced when you can clearly define those clear roles, right? Like I said earlier, the virtual space kind of opened everything up to where, oh, I don't have a boss that's looking over me, I don't have a manager, I don't have people checking me every which way in that, right? They don't have that because they're at home. They have that, they're in their home, they're in their castle, right? And so oftentimes that can kind of blur those lines of what those roles are. So we really want to make sure that the roles are very defined, not in a way that like is aggressive, but a way that's just clear, direct, and structured, right? When members know that their responsibilities and what they're responsible for, what they, excuse me, I'm messing up, what they're responsible for, and what their specific like objectives are, right? Their metrics are in order for success. They're more motivated to take ownership of the work because they know if I'm here, this is where I need to get in order to succeed, and that really strengthens the team with those goals that are measurable. Metrics, I think, are always important, whether it's yearly, semi-annually, every month, even if you want to have metrics. By all means, there should be metrics in place for every member of the team, even management. To strengthen motivation, we celebrate achievements. That's really a big thing. That's showing that culture, that's showing that we care. Using both formal and informal recognition, even if it's just a shout out in the chat, like, hey, or like we said, right, we're using Asana, we're using Slack, we're using these chat services to keep the team together, right? So maybe it's, Sarah over there helped me out really well with our project, and Caitlin over in graphics, or Mike over in marketing, man, they really helped me out with my graphics. So let me just hit them up and say, hey, big shout out to the marketing team. Big shout out to Mark. He's always looking out. Those are kind of the subtle, informal things that are smaller. You can even make things, as we go through, you can even make things, incorporate a gamification of it, right? Make it a points thing. This is more on the official side, right? The chat's kind of the informal. The points is the other side, right? I used to work as an SDR, right? And I worked for a tech company. And what they used to do was, as we made our certain number of calls and all this, we would do a power hour. This is when you're just on the phones, call, whatever. You had to hit at least 40 calls to qualify. But if you got the most calls after that with the highest call time, then you got like a $20 gift card, right? $40 gift card. It went to different challenges based on week or monthly goals, right? They hit $100 gift card. And these were small like gamifications of it, right? They made it a game. They added points. You try to build it up because you try to win. Those are the things that make it competitive. Those are the things that keep people as that competition. By establishing clear structures, workflows, and project management frameworks, we can streamline our processes, reducing confusion and boosting productivity. Documenting the workflows ensures everyone is on the same page as we progress through all these projects as this team takes on in this virtual space. Team culture. Right? It all kind of wraps up around team culture. Team culture will be nurtured through virtual team building activities, different collaboration and inclusivity. Sorry, that word messing me up a little bit. Some of the team building activities, man, we want to try to break down those barriers. Whether it's even I've done it before in another company that they did a happy hour on Fridays. Right? He'd say about, hey, it's Friday, it's been a good week. Everybody hitting their goals. We're going to have happy hour at 3 o'clock. Last 2 hours of Friday, don't even worry about it. We're going to hop on Teams, chat a little bit, chat a little work, have a drink with you. It was something that was team building, team getting together. We used to do a retreat, right? You go to a retreat, so you focus on work, and you're building your metrics out for the year and planning and doing all that and laying the frameworks for the actual job as a virtual thing, right? But then you're saying, oh, we're going to go to Top Golf. Things like that are team building activities, getting the team together, getting the team working, whether it's virtual or whether it's in person, that really help drive that team culture and kind of that camaraderie amongst the team. The collaboration, man, is again with the chat services, is keeping people informed, keeping people open line of communications, not always being accessible, because I understand schedules, but you gotta work with them, you gotta work a little bit. things like that. That's really going to help boost that team culture when they feel like they can reach out to somebody. That inclusivity, man, it doesn't matter what position, what title that you're at, right? That team culture, whether you are the project manager up here, or if you're one of the marketing guys, or one of the accounting people, or the finance people, it doesn't matter what position that you're in. That inclusivity of saying, hey, we're all on the same team, right? Even though this project and this project and this project and this team and this team and this team works, we're all on the same team. So we all need to collaborate. We all need to be open. It's keeping that transparency, creating a harmonious and diverse work environment that really boosts the team morale, boosts the team productivity, right? Excuse me. Now, our implementation plan. Our strategy rolls out in 4 phases. First, we need to assess the team dynamics, right? As the team in this virtual team space is being put together, we really want to assess what are each member's strengths, each member's weaknesses, things like that. It's a SWOT analysis of sorts, right? We want to do that SWOT analysis. Then we want to introduce what the communication improvements are. That SWOT analysis is going to tell us where we're bad at communication, where our workflows are going bad. Maybe we need an SOP here where we haven't had one before, whatever it is, right? And so that this communication, we're going to implement those communication improvements from that SWOT analysis and find where those workflow places are that we need to fix. And we're going to put those up together in phase 2 and kind of shore up those holes and keep going. In phase 3, that's kind of when we launched that recognition plan. The groundwork's been laid, the frame's starting to go up, the frame's getting reinforced, we're putting on the walls of the house, and now it's time to say, hey guys, we've been seeing all the work you're doing. Let's take an extra day off. Or hey, come on down, we got dinners on us, lunch is on, not even dinner, because dinner is afterward, that's making you stay after work. Lunch is on us. You know how to sit here and hang out with the work people, but lunch is on us. Because you all been doing good. That's that recognition program. It's the team building stuff that kind of boosts morale. It's a phase like the selling circle, right? The story, right? You get to that, you're doing well, building, growing. Then you get that hard part. That's that hard part at the bottom. So you got to overcome that hard part, and that's where that team building, that's where that phase 3 comes in. And then phase 4, we're switching back. We're monitoring the progress as it's going. We've done the building. We've built the frameworks. The walls are up. The roof is on. Now we want to see if when the weather comes, is that roof still going to stay strong? Is that house still going to stay stable? Right? That's what we're doing at phase 4. We're monitoring that progress. We're continuously adapting the strategies as it's going on. We're utilizing those open communication to get active feedback, right? We don't want to be reactive. We want to be active. And that's what we're going through. Proactive, right? We're constantly changing and adjusting ourselves to adjust to what is needed. And that's kind of the whole of our implementation plan for this virtual team. A lot of times, even though COVID did happen, now that COVID is not a prevalent thing, I say COVID because that's really where virtual work kicked off. Now that COVID is not here, people are wanting to move out of the virtual space, but realizing that the virtual space is so valuable. So we want to make sure that we do the best we can here at the company with this implementation plan to make sure that we are doing the best virtual teams we possibly can, because also to maintain our people, but also to perform at peak efficiency. The anticipated benefits of the strategy. By implementing the strategy, man, we really anticipate higher engagement, smoother organizational processes, stronger team cohesion, and just a greater accountability within the team. These outcomes really help to ensure that the long-term successes of our virtual team and our virtual projects continues on. In summary, revitalizing the motivation and the organization requires a balanced focus on communication, accountability, recognition, structure, and culture. And with these steps, with this whole strategy that I've just laid out, we think that we can really transform challenges into opportunities for more effective and engaged virtual teams. Thank you.